the troll meme jumped to 200 million. I think it's trading perhaps a little bit below that right now. But this is actually one of the most interesting stories in the meme sector that we've had in quite some time.
What's up, everybody? It's LG Doucette here, and welcome back to the Milk Road Degen podcast, a show where I listen to people smarter than me and then make dumb decisions anyways. Today's guest is Tyler D, the news terminal of the Degen world. I watched this guy rise from out of nowhere years ago to being like the central point of news in the Degen world, whether you're looking for NFT news, token news, whatever's going on with the hottest meta. I feel like Tyler's like the account that I check every single day that's going to tell me what I should be paying attention to. I think he's one of the most important voices in the space. And today I'm going to grill him on his alpha sources, how he spots metas, how he gets in and out of stuff and how he manages that with tweeting. We're going to talk about the hot metas like Pokémon, card digitization this week, as well as what he thinks is going to happen in the next couple months, couple weeks, because that's the longest viewpoint that we have on this show. We don't talk years, we talk days, we talk minutes. So even months is a little long. Before we get started, if you guys are swapping anything right now, if you're making any trades, please head over to Milk Road Swap. The team has worked really hard on having a nice little DEX for us to use. So anything that's Ethereum based, Arbitrum, Solana, all that stuff, you have pretty decent fees over there. So if you're making trades this week or anytime soon, check out Milk Road Swap. And today's episode is brought to you by Fun Token, powering the next wave of Web3 gaming and decentralized innovation. Tyler, what's up, man? There he is.
Thanks for having me on. Our first time doing a show together. And yeah, I appreciate your intro. I've been following you along since the Top Shot days, 2021.
Am I ever going to get out of that being known for just that? I need something else. I need like another thing that I am like fully bonded to that isn't Top Shot. I don't know what it's going to be, but I need it.
Yeah, well, you made a big splash. I meant that as a compliment, but yeah, you're.
Oh, it is. It is. I'm very appreciative, and anybody from those times know me well for that. And I'm sure I'll have another big hit, but I don't want to negate the impact that I had, which we had a great time back then, man. We had so much fun. We had the 2021 Top Shot, all that stuff was such a wild time. When did you start tweeting? When did you start making content in that arc? Were you already doing that at the same time I was? Did you start after or before? What was the deal there?
I've had a Twitter account for like 15 years and was just kind of doing it for all personal BS. And then 2020 December got into crypto more deeply, sat down with the wife, had a conversation, bought some Bitcoin, bought some ETH. And then from there, just people I followed on Twitter were getting into NFTs, and it made sense to me. And long story short, I started getting into NFT trading and then started doing content around it as well. Like this was also like the COVID era. And I was kind of fed up with my job, so started doing more and more Twitter content. I'd say back like February 2021, I wrote a blog about Euler Beats. I think that was my first ever NFT blog in February 2021.
I had some of those. I
got wrecked on this. Talking about speaking of time, I lost 75%. Welcome to crypto, baby.
I definitely lost money on those too. God, those seem so cool. Those are like there's such an interesting concept. God. Wait, hold on. Do you still have to speak to your wife about every purchase you make in crypto? Is that still a thing?
No, we'd have to be we'd have to be on a live call all day, every day. For me to get through that approval process. I did for a while. Like I passed on a crypto plan, but she said no. In February 2021. And after I watched them rise, then I was like, okay, well, maybe I'm not going to ask her for every decision.
Oh, no. Oh, my wife was actually the one who convinced me to get an ape when they were like 1 ETH. And awesome. I was still fading them. I was like, no, everyone's just going to buy Top Shot. Stop liking other NFTs like a lot of people in the Dapper ecosystem did. And she was like, that's enough. You have to buy one of these. And I was like, fuck, okay. And I actually got one from Dingaling. I asked him nicely if he would sell me one at half price, and he did. So he gave me a deal on an ape, which turned into one of the best things that I'd gotten in the space. So yeah, people out there, you're making a big decision in crypto. Consulting your spouse is not the worst idea. Let's put it that way, right? Because that's what got you started, right? Was kind of like chatting with the wife and saying, let's buy some of this stuff. And and here you are now 5 years on, as like a prime voice in the space. Does your wife follow your Twitter? Like, is she active? Does she say, hey, Tyler, great tweets today, great spaces today? Or she's just removed, just as happy that you're doing your thing?
She's fairly removed. She doesn't love NFT. She doesn't love crypto. She still holds 5 ETH from when she sold a Pudgy Penguin that I gave her in 2021. She's held it the ETH all this time.
Wow.
So she's outperformed a good chunk of CT there just by holding it. She doesn't really follow my tweets, but every once in a while when she's bored, she'll jump in. And then when she gets riled up, as if there's anyone trolling me or like giving negative comments, she'll get in and try to chirp at them. Or she's even like reported people before. She's got thin skin when it comes to that. As you know, we have to have thicker skins. When you're in the crypto Twitter content arena, you're going to take some licks.
Dude, you tweet so much, man. Like, tell me more about your content journey. Like, it's shocking that we've never actually like spoken to each other like this. But what do you do what's the first thing you do in the morning? Like, what chart do you look at? How do you decide like what information you're going to consume and what you're going to tweet about? What does that look like for you?
Yeah, it actually starts the night before. So I write a daily newsletter. I build the framework for that 5 to 8 p.m. Eastern the night before. So I wake up with the head start, and what that enables me to do, I typically get up at 5:30 and checking majors. The first thing I do when I wake up is check Bitcoin's price. And then I'll start going down the risk curve a little bit, see how my fart coin's doing, all the other memes, pump, all this stuff. And I don't hold all of these, but just get a feel for the market, and go through my list of sources. I go through the morning, the Euros who do the reporting. B-Check is a great source of mine because he's got his updates out typically before I wake up. So run through his, make sure I haven't missed anything. And then I'll get my updates out around 7 a.m. Central or so. And I go.
How do you choose what to write about?
It's a good question. So I for like more macro news, 3 primary sources for me. I use Decrypt, Blockworks, and CoinDesk. So I want to make sure any big topical stories from there are included. And then I've got 200 accounts on notification. So I'm glued. I'm glued to Twitter. I am an addict. And so I'm reading all of their tweets generally like every day. And I have my process of bookmarking and what do I want to report on. So I've got the macro, I've got more like your token and protocol news, I've got the meme news, and then I'm also in a lot of group chats. And I think the networking aspect has been probably the biggest lift for me personally over the last year and a half, is just getting connected with more folks who are also connected with their own circles. So, I mean, you're probably aware, like information travels the fastest through those circles. And that's given me more exposure to different sectors and niches. So that's been a big lift.
200 accounts on notifications?
It's probably higher than that.
Some people tweet some people reply to every single comment under their tweets. Like, and they, just for engagement, because that's like a good engagement practice, right? Is to respond to your replies, blah, 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 right? So it's like, again, that's obscene, man. How does an account make it into your notifications? What's your qualification for like turning that on?
A great call, good alpha, recommendations, news accounts are the primary ones. I think I've got Milk Road on notice.
Hey, shout out social guys, doing a great job, Milk Road. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, are there ever situations? This happens. I mean, I don't tweet very much right now. Hopefully get going again soon, but I've been focused elsewhere. Are there ever situations where you like see something and you're like, I need to go trade that immediately? There's no time to tweet. I need to do that instantly. Does that happen to you?
I always do the opposite. And
how noble of you. How noble.
I'm trying. And honestly, maybe it's not that noble, but like I want to be the one to break the news. So like I'll tweet about it and try to get that Twitter clout. And then a lot of times like I won't buy it. And then it'll be 5 hours later and the thing will be up 50% or up 100%. I'm like, oh shit. Maybe I should have just, I'd be a lot better off if I just bought everything that I tweeted about instead of tweeting about it first.
But I mean, you could argue that especially as like a news account that a lot of people follow and really enjoy, that the timely tweet is in a sense more valuable to you as an account than maybe the trade is.
Yeah, I think that argument long term.
Are you a good trader? Are you a good trader?
I'm below average, but like I'm on a terrible meme trading streak. I did fairly well 2023 to 2024. I caught the whiff trade. I was early to the fart coin trade. I was early to the AI trade, November, December. This summer has been brutal. Basically didn't hit a trade for the summer.
What? Really? What do you mean? Like, what did you miss? Like, were you buying tops? What happened?
Buying tops, or I'd buy something and it would go up briefly and I wouldn't sell. And then it would just slowly go back down and bleed out. Where I've been better at is when I'm like hyper focused at, okay, I'm going to clip out at a 50% gain or 2x, and then I'm going to have stop losses. If it drops more than 20%, I'm going to get out. Like when I'm operating in that framework, and I have before, I've done much better. Then for whatever reason, I just got kind of loose with it this summer, and I held things too long. And I think, as you're aware, as someone who's tracking metas, the meta's been moving so quickly and nothing is lasting.
Yeah, this summer's been a fucking mess, man. Yeah, this is awful this summer. Like even if like the things like football.fun, like cool product, a good bull case, but it's like that was, I remember I saw that on the day it launched and I was like, yeah, I don't know, and then like 2 weeks later I saw you tweet about it and I was like, Tyler's tweeting about it. Like, that's gotta be something. And then it was like the Thursday morning, you're like, what's football.fun? How do we get in? And then like on the Sunday was like the climax, and but that was it. But then that was it. Right. So that was like really like a week of time. And it's still around. People stay in that for years, like that kind of thing comes and then people are like, especially like sports, whatever, people stay in it. But that was so brief.
It was. I mean, another one was just like with the Heaven Protocol and Light. So I was in the Light trade.
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't super early. I got in around 30 million. That 5x. So I was up 5x on the trade. And then I believed in the team, got a little caught up in it. And then 4 or 5 days later, their market share is down sub 5%. Fully tripped it. So that held things a little too long. So that's how summer went for me. I had some losers and then the winners I didn't cut. So
right. Yeah. Were you what were you in the past life? Have you ever been like a TradFi person, or are you a trader? Like what's your background like that for doing this kind of stuff?
Went to college for electrical engineering, and then that was a little too slow moving for me, and I just went into consulting at Accenture, so just a big US consulting company. Started doing financial services consulting, so I ended up doing about 13 years of financial consulting for banks. So like in that space, but not trading.
Not trading. So this is being in like crypto. This is your first like foray into like trading and all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely, yeah.
Have you learned tell me about like any other tools that you've added to your repertoire? Like, have you become good at TA? Or is this all research? Is this all networking? Like, how have you built yourself up as somebody who can maintain confidence in times like these where you've had a rough summer and but you want to be early to the next thing?
First off, astrology is the key. So the moon cycles drive 90% of the price action. I say that tongue in cheek, but it is funny how that does work in crypto. Some of the like 3 cycles in a row. I think like the January full moon after the new year was like marked the Pico local bottom. Like these trends do exist, but I do say that tongue in cheek. I think I follow the reason why I wanted to be a news account was to force myself to write about the market every single day so that I wouldn't miss new metas. So I've been able to be early and catch a lot of these trades over the last 2 to 3 years that I don't think I would have if I had a day job and was just following the space at an arm's length. So I think that has been a fundamental driver for me. And then covering the market from a macro perspective, we were chatting about this a little bit before the show, and we started doing NFTs and like far down the risk curve. And now like I have a macro section of the newsletter, so I'm covering all that. So like the macro trade does make sense to me, like the Bitcoin trade, now the ETH trade, like what's happening on a bigger basis with inflows and how institutional inflows are effectively the biggest driver in the market. right now across ETFs and these treasury co's, and how that's impacted Bitcoin, ETH, and Sol. So I've been able to come up with my own theses based on just seeing that play out over the last 6 months, 12 months. For Bitcoin, a little bit more recent for ETH and Sol. And then going down the risk curve has been a lot more just about networking, really, and trying to find the signal through the noise on crypto Twitter. Like the signal to noise ratio was a lot higher back in 2021, certainly than it is now. So you have to sift through it. But it does still exist. Like I am finding myself on a weekly basis finding information on crypto Twitter that I can action on, which is another reason why I'll probably never give it up.
Web3 gaming is booming, and one token is powering the next wave, Fun. With 100K holders worldwide, Fun is already fueling engagement across AI tools, rewards, and 40 plus upcoming games in 2025, audited by CertiK with an AA Skynet score and listed on Binance, HDX, and Poloniex. Fun is built on trust and adoption. Now, with the launch of Fun 100X Foundation, $10 million is going back to the community, funding DAOs, dApps, and a governance for the future of decentralized gaming. So discover how Fun is shaping Web3 at milkroad.com/fun. How do you, yeah, that's something I'm so curious about, right? As I've kind of returned to making content as well and try and balance like my information diet with trading and everything, is that like, there's so much, right? You've got your notification on 200 accounts. Wild. How do you parse out that signal from the noise, right? Because even being in group chats, all that kind of stuff, it's like you can only borrow other people's convictions so much until you have to really rely on like how you feel. So how do you distinguish that, right? Like how do you decide that something is going to be for you? Something like even like Heaven is a good example, right? It's like how did you decide so early that you were going to get into that, and versus other things that maybe you skipped?
Yeah, that one might have been a little bit of borrowed conviction. So a very good friend of mine who I trust and made a big trade on, and he laid out his thesis on why. And I was following at arm's length. And I was like, well, okay, that makes sense. We had just seen the Bonk team come in and have some success against pump.fun. Pump.fun sentiment was still pretty low at the time. But in general, I really just try to read everything. Like I think one of my personal edges is I see the board. I see a whole lot, and I do quite literally grind this 12 hours a day. And just I see all the information, and I do form my own opinions and then figure out where I do want to focus. And I've been lucky where I don't overtrade. So I think a part of the challenge with that type of information flow is you do feel like you need to be in every trade. Or you like, oh, I see this. Well, I need to go with football.fun. But like that was an easy pass for me just because I don't know anything about soccer. So even though I saw it blowing up, I'm like, this is not going to, I'm going to be someone's X liquidity on this.
How much do you know about Pokemon cards? Very topical this week. Everybody is now a Pokemon card expert. We've all been Pokemon fans for 30 years. Come on. Of course this makes sense.
I know even less about Pokemon than I know about soccer, which is saying something. But this Pokemon meta, it's an interesting one, right? And I think we're all trying to find that Top Shot moment for 2025, and how do we run that back? And for a second, we thought maybe it was football.fun. It's kind of looking like maybe that's not going to be it. Not a shout, not a dig at that team. I do like them. Yeah, and I think they're going to have a lot of success. But part of the reason Top Shot made sense to me in 2021 is tokenizing collectibles makes sense. Like I had friends who were in the physical trading card game who had to store their cards, had to travel to shows to sell them. And it was such a hard process. So being able to do that online 24/7, not have to worry about taking care of maintenance, and they're all reliable. Like that just made the light bulb went off. So it made total sense. So I see like why that would make sense for Pokemon cards as well. And then this collector crypt, boom, we just interviewed the founder on FOMO Hour this morning. Yeah. And he explained their business model. And I do think this is working for them in a bull market, but effectively all of their packs, so they take physical Pokemon cards, they secure them in vaults, they tokenize them, put them into these packs, they sell the packs. All the packs are plus ETH. So if they sell them at $50, he's saying that there's $55 in value. And then their unique mechanism is they have an 85 to 90% buyback floor. So you get a card worth $20 that you don't want, they're going to buy it back from you at 90%. And that spread effectively is how they make their money. He said they've done $80 million in revenue so far this year. They made about 15 to 20 million in profit off of that. And then they're looking to expand into sports cards as well. So this collector crypt has a good model. I think you could start to poke holes in it objectively. So like what happens if the market turns the other way? Are you still going to be able to capture those types of spreads, right? So I think it is definitely benefiting from that. And then this cards token, which is tied to the platform, is certainly what really brought the mania to the front stage of crypto Twitter when this coin comes out and it runs to 400 million in a couple days. So anyone who got in it had a great trade. I'm not in this.
Dude, this is one of those things. Well, okay, first of all, thank you for explaining that for people who are curious about it. I have a lot of thoughts about Pokemon, but I want to ask you, like, especially somebody consumes so much news and you're trying to track like kind of like the narrative and the momentum, there's so many times where I was tempted to top blast this, and I woke up like 3 mornings in a row being like, fuck, I should have top blasted that last night. How do you trade it at this point, right? Because we're looking at, we'll just talk about it from a market cap perspective, because it's about a third or a quarter or so of the actual FDV. You've had this insane run up. If you look at it on the daily chart, right, like 2 days of just like insane green candles, like literally a 10x. And then now you've got like a 30% retracement from the top. It's tied to a much larger trend, right? Like you're saying, it's like it's a really cool, different way to approach like trading Pokemon cards. Pokemon cards, the thing that we should, if you were in NFTs in 2021, 2022, you should have rotated to Pokemon cards, which a lot of people did, including our old First Mint friend Quadzilla has, and is doing really well there. So long term, you're like, this makes sense, but how do you decide on a chart like this? How do you gauge this? What do you do with this at this point?
Yeah, I mean, in general, you want to avoid buying the 2-day 10x candles. Like you want to look for a little bit of a breathing room, and then I think from there you have to just really figure out like what's the growth story.
Yeah.
Well, what is this token and what is the growth story? So what I don't quite know about this one is we know the revenue meta with buybacks is the rage right now. And if you really want people to believe in your token, it can't just be a governance token. It has to have some revenue component. It's the hyperliquid trade. It's the pump.fun trade, right? I actually don't know the answer to that for this cards token.
Yeah.
Which makes it a little bit more challenging at a $400 million FTV. Even though, I mean, it's trading 1-to-1 in its revenue, and he dropped the alpha this morning that they're going to add sports cards. So like the growth story is clear, but is this trading on mimetic value?
What does their token do? Sorry, what does the actual token do?
Yeah, and I don't have the full picture on that. That is the challenge. I don't hold it, so I didn't just ape in with and we didn't get into it in the conversation, unfortunately. So I'll have to get back to you on that. But I haven't seen any chatter about buybacks, like actually using the protocol's revenue to buy back the token. So in absence of that, I think it is a little trickier.
Dude, are buybacks something that every like crypto company degen, like that, is that something everyone's going to have to do in the future now? Like, is that, I feel like that's just become like, okay, well now to be taken seriously, you cannot keep your revenue. You have to spend it on pumping the token.
I think so. Yeah. Like it used to be the joke for these protocols. It's like, you don't want to talk about revenue because like that's going to impact the mimetic price. Mm-hmm. And Uniswap's the greatest example, right? Like Uniswap ran to 40 something billion. I don't know off the top of my head. Oh, yeah. And they haven't ever done any buybacks. Mm-hmm. So it is totally just trading as a governance token, which is wild. Yeah. It's wild that the market hasn't demanded more of this sooner, mm-hmm. I think. But perhaps it's somewhat tied to just the broader trend of the institutionalization and more serious TradFi players entering the crypto space. Mm-hmm. And the trading these tokens at mimetic values isn't going to cut it anymore. There has to be some substance to it.
Well, you know what's funny too is I saw somebody tweeting about, maybe it was Clemente tweeting about this today, that in 2022 everybody was mad that NFT marketplaces were dealing with removing creator fees, right? And that was a big thing. It's like, oh, these artists, they need the fees from trading NFTs to survive, and Blur's fucking that up, and now OpenSea's caving to that to try and compete, and this whole thing. And then now collectively is like a this kind of mind share that we've evolved to be like, what matters the most is revenue. How much are these companies making? And now to even boost that, it's like, are they spending it on our bags or not? Like that's just like the whole, like even Pump and Hyperliquid, right? Like that's the big dual narrative right now. Like, oh, Pump's now above Hyperliquid, but it's 1/10 the market cap. Is it going to reprice? Like, and the whole thing is like, these things must make money. That's the only thing that matters now. Everybody dunks on all the new L2s. It's like, Story only made $22 yesterday, whatever. Mm-hmm. And the whole thing now is like, can this company make money? Which I think is good, because I think in 2021, we're just like, the NFTs are cool. It doesn't matter if they make money or what the company is or where they raise something. It doesn't matter if they have a sustainable business model. And now everything is about revenue, which I think is a maturation of the market. But
it makes it easier for us. Like, how do you value an L2?
Yeah,
based on intangibles like TVL, users, right? This group of metrics versus, here's a protocol that made this amount of money as buybacks, and now you can compare it to all the other protocols and how much they make, and it's just easy. Now it's just math. So like, okay, one of these is either overvalued or one of these is undervalued.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I just think it's just funny how we've smartened up, but also like now we're so pigeonholed in this thinking, right? Like that's the thing, is like they're like, will you buy back your token or not? Is like, that's the only thing that matters now to at least to crypto Twitter and kind of how a lot of us view things, which I think is also can be damaging for innovation as well, right? Because we want new ideas, especially as like meta chasers. We want people to come up with new things, right? We don't want it to just fit whatever there is. I think the best way to make money is be early to things that are new and different. And take a risk on them, right? And if you don't do that, if you don't have people doing that, there's no incentive to do that, then we won't have cool new things to sell to retail 3 months down the line.
Well, speaking of new and different, I think you talk about memes a bit on the show, and I know it's a little bit more of a macro audience. This troll news, I don't know if you saw this.
Yes, dude.
So the troll meme team has officially acquired the IP behind the original troll face meme from the creator, and they paid them like 6 figures. There is an ongoing percent cut of all this, and I don't have the full details in front of me, but now they effectively own the meme, the IP behind the meme. And the market liked it. The troll meme jumped to 200 million. I think it's trading perhaps a little bit below that right now, but this is actually one of the most interesting stories in the meme sector that we've had in quite some time. Because these memes are just like, there's no substance behind them.
Yeah.
For 99.99%. And like Pepe, in fact, had like part of its early battles were because Matt Fury wasn't tied in, right? There was no IP tied to that token. Well, now we have a major meme kind of front stage that actually has the IP. It's unique. And it's got a clean setup, right? Like this is, I think at least it has to be paid attention to if you are trading in this sector. And I do not own this one, which is egg all over my face, because I wasn't.
Is it too late though? Hold on, but you're saying it's such a clean setup, and you're comparing it, and I've seen this too, right? I've seen it. It's like, okay, Pepe is at 3 or 4 billion, and they don't even own the IP. This is also a super popular meme that you've seen all over the internet for years. So how could what's the case for this to 5x, right?
If I had to pick one meme under $1 billion to make it into a multi-billion-dollar valuation, it would be this one.
So why wouldn't you buy it? Why wouldn't you get in now?
I actually
take a small bag.
This morning I've been starting to think, like, what is my path to starting to accumulate a troll bag? And what's painful is I was actually in this one at 30, and I timed it. So scroll to the left, like it didn't for a while, and I cut the bag, like, to go do something else, which I'm sure I took a loss on.
Somewhere in here, like
no,
at the start.
further left.
Hold on.
Like, look at there was a long period of time where it just kind of went sideways.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. This zone here.
Basically the entire summer, right? And then it just went on this.
Oh my God. Why did you like it initially?
Because of the meme.
Because of the meme.
This is a pure. I mean, a token isn't necessarily pure, but this meme is a pure meme play. Like, it's an OG, right. Very recognizable. Mainstream knows what the troll meme is.
Here we go. We're just going to mark this. So anytime I pull up Dex Screener, I'll know that this was where you were in. Oh man, that's painful. Yeah. So, okay. So do you have like whatever that is, like exit bias or something like that on a token like this? You're like, I should be up 10x and I'm not, and I just cannot get back in.
Oh, always, yes. But then, I mean, you look at those green candles, like those are hard green candles to chase, and it kind of came out of nowhere. Like, it started grinding up, and then yeah. So like it was hard to catch in there.
Yeah,
and then it's hard to buy after that. But this news is a reason to buy, in my opinion. So NFA, all of that. But if you like trading memes and you want to take a flyer on the next $1 billion meme, I think this has got as clean of a bull case as anything.
The only thing I'll say, I think it's always good to give like counter arguments, and I'm a terrible trader as well. So, I honestly thought about buying it as well, and I'm still considering maybe we should do it together, make a little pact. But for something like this, I think you could also argue that the setup is too clean. That I think that sometimes in crypto, things run out of bullish catalysts, and that's the top, right? So it's like you have too many good things that have happened to this, and sometimes it's like those things are there, and you're like, why isn't the price moving? And then the next day, it's the biggest green candle you've ever seen in your life, and you're like, fuck me, I should have bought. But other times, you're like, nothing could be more bullish than what there is right now?
Yeah.
And for really speculative assets like this, not like an ETH where it's like treasuries are spending billions of dollars buying this. Like it's like that's more reasonable versus this. It's like, yes, they've taken it over. So what other news would make it go up? If it's something that lives on news more than actual like investment thesis.
Yeah, that's a strong counter. I think my reply to that would be is if this troll meme team went through the process of buying this IP and paid out of pocket, that it's not a big stretch to think that they've got plans to keep, running this like a project, so to speak. But we'll see. Time will tell.
Let's see. Do they have? Oh boy. I just try to see if there's any way to get a hint of that, because that's a fantastic. That's a really good point. Become a troll now. What happens here? Click on this. Oh, there's a game. Have you done any of this?
I haven't. This is all I'm watching.
Okay.
I'm this all.
How to meme generate troll fashions, troll rudder. Okay. Anyways, all right. Let's try new products with Tyler on the show.
Yeah.
Pretty good. It's a gaming thesis, man. GameFi. There you go. That's what that's gonna be. Okay. Tyler, we're going into September. Typically a down month. You become a macro follower in your time as a content creator. And we're chatting pre-show, like never has there been a time where everybody's just sitting around trying to figure out literally what the macro move is going to be tomorrow. And that's like almost the main part of the conversation. What happens now? What happens now? Are we in a cycle? A cycle's done? How do you manage a time like this in crypto?
Yeah, zoomed out, I am a believer in the golden bull run, golden cycle thesis that we've broken out of the 4 years. We're not going to see any more 70% downturns in Bitcoin because of the institutional bid and the mainstream crypto being taken mainstream. We're seeing the SEC, CFTC, they're actively putting these structures in place. So I think we grind higher on a long period of time. There are going to be pullbacks, of course. I think probably more in the 20 to 30% range. Even 50% would probably surprise me. If I'm being honest, like a Bitcoin pullback to 60K, I think I'd be pretty surprised about that.
Would you buy it at 60K? Like if it red candled in a week from now? If Powell came out and cut rates and then Bitcoin red candled to 60K, would you buy it?
Yes. Yeah, I absolutely would. Zoomed in. So I wrote a newsletter about this. September, late August to September is ghost month. And the impact is Asia. So it is the 7th lunar month where like spirits range and basically TLDR, superstitious people don't like to trade in this month. And the first 5 days of Ghost Month, it was the Korea Open at like 7 p.m. Eastern. Bitcoin majors were selling off every night. That trend has somewhat broken this past week. But there was a stretch of time where it was very real. And it feels like the bid has been weak. So anyways, it kind of feels like it could be the Ghost Month trend playing out again. But I'm not one who puts a ton of weight on past performance is indicative of future performance. So I do think the rate cuts coming, institutions getting back from summer vacation could be enough for us to have a green September and kind of flip the script. But we'll certainly see. I think from a macro perspective, MicroStrategy and what's kind of happening with that trade is probably the biggest overhang on Bitcoin right now. But it has some outs. It's got the S&P 500 that could potentially be added to this stretch stock. If it gets to 100, that's going to open up the ATM for Sailor. We just saw the news this morning that the NASDAQ is going to apply more scrutiny on these DATs. From my view, that's not going to impact MicroStrategy, BitMine, SharpLink. It's going to impact the more downstream riskier ones, which is a net positive. I think there's the strong consensus bear take that these DATs and treasury codes are what's going to disrupt and cause the next bear market. I'm not necessarily aligned with that. Like I see it. I feel like it's just too easy of a take. Like, okay, these people are all going to become forced sellers at some point, and that's going to drive us lower. I think there's probably some other outcomes that the folks haven't foreseen just yet. But zoomed in, the Bitcoin treasury trade, DAT trade, a little bit murky right now. The ETH trade feels like it's slowing down a bit. Joe Lubin and SharpLink, they came out, they bought nearly $1 billion. Tom Lee's bought more than that now, 1.8 million ETH he's got. Like that pace is going to struggle to continue. And then the Sol DAT trade is the one in focus right now. We know there's another couple billion coming for that. So it feels like it has the strongest near-term bull case. But on the flip side, on the ETF side of things, Bitcoin is now back seeing big inflows, $1 billion over the last 7 sessions. ETH is flipped negative. So it seems like ETH was the catch-up trade. It caught up, and now the money is pouring back into the top dog. And maybe we're just going to repeat that, which wouldn't be bad. Right? Bitcoin runs, we do the catch-up trade, and then it goes down, not to like alt season like historically has been seen, but alt season for like the big 5.
Alt season, man. Yeah. Alt season. Everyone's been asking about alt season. I wrote these newsletters about alt season, and fucking went up 5%. Like nothing happened. Yeah, so Pendle went down from its like little top. Anyways, what about Solana? I know you like a week or two ago, you're like, Solana's the trade right now.
Yeah, I think Solana has a real shot at a new all-time high this year, backed by the DATs. ETFs coming. It's not going to have the BlackRock ETF likely this year, which it has to be taken as a part of this calculus. Like you want the BlackRock bid, and we also know from the ETFs that it takes some time for the inflows to really turn on. But I think that the DATs in the broader crypto market grinding up will be enough to help lift Sol. So I do think it's interesting. But of course, it is up. It has outperformed already over the last few weeks. So perhaps I'm a little late to that take. But I like the upside.
No, I agree. I mean, my as a meta chaser, I think if we are in for Ghost Month, I actually think that that's a good meme time. I feel like memes like usually kind of fill that void of like weird chop, slow kind of bleed out before things pick up again. That's just been kind of my like memes memes are always there. First of all, memes are always there. There's always memes relevant, but I feel like Pump coming back with their creator incentives. And if Solana can, if everything bleeds out a little bit, like you see a ETH sub 4K, Bitcoin sub 105 or something like that, and if Solana like holds up, like stays in like the 190, 200 range, then and Pump continues to do well, then I think I'm keen. I'm like positioning mentally for like a bit of a meme season right now. I don't know. You don't have to agree with that, but I think I don't see why not, especially while everything else kind of stands still. I find that that's usually a good time to just trench it up a little bit.
I agree. I dusted off my meme trading fingers. I made 3 trades yesterday. They're too far risk curve to bring up on this show, but they were also trades. They're all like 4 to 5 X's. So I'm back.
Was one of them Brewski?
No, but I like that meme. 2 of them were Pokemon related, and one was streamer creator coin related.
Oh, was it Surprise Pikachu?
Yes.
Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah, I saw it at 400K and I didn't get it. I don't know why. That was stupid. That's a good one.
It may have already round trips.
I think so. Yeah, but still, that's trenches. The round tripping can be in an hour, so you got to get out with profit and not tell yourself a story that's the next troll. I think that's the thing to avoid, is that you buy back in as it goes. But I think it's like most of these, it's like you're in and out super fast.
The incentives are there though. Like these creator fees are a big deal.
I think so.
It's not just the streamers, right? It's anyone who runs a coin is effectively a creator, and they have the CTO program, so you can come in and take over a dead meme or a good one that's not being well run, and the fees are like real money.
Yeah.
And
are you tempted to stream there?
I don't want a token. I think that is the challenge. I think the money sounds great in theory and it feels easy to a degree. I think this long in my creator journey, I've never sold anything. Newsletter's free, no NFTs, no tokens, and it just kind of helps me sleep at night. And I don't want anyone to have lost money on like my token or my NFTs. Right. So, but it's juicy. Like I will say, because we just moved to streaming on Kick, and I was like, oh man, should we have moved to Pump?
To Pump, yeah. Hey man, but listen, Tyler, it's easy. Launch the token, and all the fees go to buybacks. That's it. You don't even need to take the money. Just buybacks. You have your model in front of you, man. That's it. That's all you got to do. But I mean, you'd have to make money being there. There'd be a reason for you to do it. Other than that, well, cool. Thanks for sharing those thoughts. I don't want to keep you much longer. I think we've learned a lot from you, and got a good sense of kind of the pulse of the market. Usually at the end of the show, and you used to listen to old LG shows, so you know that there's always some weird shit that happens. I've been doing a little hot seat series where I throw like fastball questions at people, and you have to like answer within 2 seconds. There's no like ums and ahs. You just have to tell me the first thing that comes to mind. Okay, so are you ready for that? It's like 10 questions or so.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, hot seat for Tyler D. Your biggest risk that paid off?
Whiff.
Your biggest risk that got wrecked?
Launchcoin.
What? Launchcoin. Oh, yeah. Okay, best airdrop?
Pingu.
Worst airdrop?
Several. Too many to name.
Token that we should all be buying?
Troll.
Dude, the troll. So many people are going to go buy this now. Okay, token that's way overhyped?
Hyperliquid.
Wow. Fave influencer?
Third guy.
Smartest person that you know?
My wife.
Nice. Last meal before you die?
Ooh, lasagna.
Yeah, nice. Tasty. All right, man. Well, dude, thank you so much for coming on the show. You guys probably know where to find Tyler. We'll post the links to him in the bio. And dude, thank you for everything you do in the space. I read the newsletter every day. You guys have a fantastic show, and you've been very consistent and an inspiration for me to come back. So thanks for coming on, man.
I appreciate you saying that. And thanks for having me on, LG. This is fun.
Want updates from the trenches alongside the tokens we're trading? Sub to our channel, then join the Milk Road Degen and Degen Pro newsletters. This show's for educational purposes only. Nothing we say is financial advice. Investing is risky. Never invest more than you can afford to lose.